Hi, hey, hello! And welcome to Power Wordplay, a Dungeons & Dragons live stream where a bunch of lovely players must protect the Swords Coast from the wrath of Tiamat.
What are you calling?
My name is Loren Sandbo, and tonight we're doing an I Can't Make Wednesday.
Hey!
So, welcome.
Wow. Here we are.
Following the end of our Silvery Moon arc,
Yeah.
from the sounds of it. So, yeah. It's been, for us, something like 6-ish months since the last one, so we've got some time to cover. Events have happened. Characters have come and gone. And, yeah, I guess let's start from the start.
Yeah, absolutely. Janelle not here, unfortunately.
Yeah. Right.
But we will do our best to put words in her mouth and make her look silly.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, so Silvery Moon, we got to visit Elias's home.
Yeah.
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 Kind of got a look at what an elvish city was, which is kind of a little bit different. Like integration of magic and nature and all that kind of fun stuff.
And poorly named areas of the city, according to Sola.
Obviously.
Why is it too bad?
Yeah.
There were obvious names there that were just ignored, so...
There were, but yeah, why don't we go around the table? What did you guys like about Silvery Moon? What did your characters experience? Was there anything that kind of stood out to you?
You know, it's interesting because, like, obviously, like, all we did to experience the city was talk about it. But I, as a, character, felt like it was still different than the previous cities that we had gone to. I don't know whether that's just, your narration or whatever, but I felt like I was in kind of more like your sort of like mystical city as opposed to like your, I don't know, little engineering gnomish town,
Yeah.
Two Hills, or your like bustling hubbub Waterdeep or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I liked how it felt like it had a sort of like an air about it, a mystique about
But its own feel.
You know what?
Yeah.
I like would compare it to was like I don't know why I always thought about it because it's very like bookish, right?
Yeah.
So I always like imagine it was like Boston or like where like Harvard or Princeton is, but my mind always went to like Connecticut. Like the vibe of it, and then as we got to know like more
Like British,
characters and just like and how it looked and how everything was so like pristine, like it was very like Stepford Wives almost, like Stepford Wives and like meets Harvard.
Yeah.
Like, it was,
I like the fact too that like I
Yeah.
could picture. So far, I've been like, and kudos to you. Like I've been able to picture in my head what each place looked
Yeah.
like. Like Fizzle's basement. Like when we went to even Jesus, your grandparents' house.
Yeah,
And like standing up on top of that
Little
hill,
farm.
being able to look down and see the town of Two Hills, and then and for me it was like I could sit there and as we were walking up when you were describing like the leaky vein, like I could picture it like just it looks like this
Hole in the
skinny.
wall.
Yeah.
I always think of like the freaking house in Harry Potter. That expands in between the two brownstones and it's like yay big,
Exactly, yeah.
like that's what I thought of. It's like it's got no room,
there
but
was
it's
room.
packed. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
How much of that was your input to how the city looked?
Oh, none of it.
Oh.
No.
Wow.
Right. Okay.
No, the
alright.
city was like I had input on like the leaky vein
Yeah.
and like Elias's house and everything. But like Silvery Moon, I mean that was like me going on the Forgotten Realms like wiki. And I was like, what does this look like? What are places here? Like literally researching everything. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
What are all of like the organizations and the buildings and
That's awesome.
there's a lot of shit there.
Yeah.
There's so much.
Very cool. Yeah. And who knows, like we may end up going back. I even enjoyed the boat ride there.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
totally.
cool.
It was eventful.
I'm sure your character enjoyed it because you didn't have to work.
Yeah.
Oh, I worked already.
Oh god.
He was working it.
Got worked over.
Wink wonk.
Why does it always happen to me?
That's a good
You
question.
put your character.
There were
in the
some
suit.
You
I
did walk
don't.
into that. You kind of
You're like the least awkward one So like it's
you're the face of the party.
yeah, because like the rest of us like try to conversate and it just comes across wrong.
Yeah.
One of the lowest charismas yet. You go talk to people.
Party liaison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It works though, because if my talking doesn't work, it's like, Rhaenyra?
But it's like I guess it was like off camera when we were talking about it like a couple weeks ago when like I do have a high like charisma, but it's more like but it's like the intimidation part of the charisma.
Yeah.
Like that's why I want to play it as like this kind of like because she grew up on a farm, so she's like this awkward, like she's never socialized.
Doesn't have, a ton of interaction.
So she doesn't get it.
Yeah.
Like all she knows is that she's strong and she's bigger than other people, and they'll do stuff for her probably because they're scared.
Do it or else.
Very
Yeah.
good
And
call.
even if they are bigger than her, she doesn't care either, so it's okay. Yeah.
You got soft, squishy bits. I'll hit them.
I'll find them. What do we think are the chances of returning a Silvery Moon? Because like you have your little.
Yeah, I have my
Yeah.
waypoint set there now.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
we can go back,
Can go back, yeah.
anytime.
Easily.
Yeah,
Easily,
I
yeah.
don't have to
Easily.
spend 9 days.
Just
Yeah.
poof, we're there.
And I feel like we still have a little bit of reason to go back
Oh, yeah.
because there was some kind of mystery in that house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You guys
I'm
remember.
very
There was a lot of mysteries
What
in
is
that
going
house.
on?
There was a lot
What
of
the
weird
hell
things.
is-
Why does the kitchen lead through the bathroom?
That was actually something
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about. The like inspiration for that was like the Winchester mystery.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I figured when that was coming out, I'm like, this reminds me of.
So what is that? Sorry.
The
Oh.
Winchester Mystery House is where is it exactly? Some like Midwest
South
American,
it's South Carolina.
South Carolina. And it's just this like house that this family, like this person, they're just like building onto it constantly, and it's just absolutely ginormous. And it's exactly that. It's like staircases that go nowhere. It's like rooms leading into nothing, like windows opening to other rooms. It's just like a mess in there.
It was the Winchester family
Yeah.
that made the firearm.
Okay.
They started to believe like that they were cursed, that everyone that was killed by one of their guns haunted their mansion. So Lady Winchester started making like this supernatural house that's, you know, like Kenzie said, staircases
Yeah.
that led to nowhere, or you'd open a door, it's a wall, you know, like
Yeah.
bathrooms that are completely windowed. Like
Yeah.
it was just
Like just pieces of architecture that are so completely different because it's just like constantly adding onto this house over time. It's like looking at pictures of it, it's really cool. It's huge.
And if
Yeah.
you believe the Wikipedia, apparently she was like, "Oh no, my husband died," and then 9 months later she's like, "Look at the mystery house! Come on in and join the mystery."
Exactly.
She opened that shit up.
Yeah.
She knew how to
What
make a dollar.
a queen.
Honestly,
It's
yeah,
respectable.
icon. But I was trying to think of
New
like how I wanted the
marketing
house to
strategy.
look, and I was like, you know, I think it's really funny to have the dichotomy of like complete chaos versus like Elias very like ordered, like
Yeah.
it has to be very much this one way,
I like
and it's
that,
just like
yeah.
this sucks. Why is it like
Right.
this?
well, the
Very
fact that it was
analyzed.
like so many different iterations of your family who've tagged onto it.
Yeah, like, that's kind of what I was
That-
thinking too.
yeah,
I was
like,
like, it's gonna be
it's-
centuries of
Yeah.
elves that don't agree about anything. That
Yeah.
are like, I think the house should be built
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah.
Gave it a real generational feel
Yeah, each floor is like
Yeah.
because obviously like elves live for a long time, and so then to have a house that lived for that long through those many generations, it would have seen many hundreds of years worth of generations as opposed to just like, you know, our generations,
Yeah.
which are like, you know, 20 years or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, really capturing a lot of history in it. So
Yeah.
neat.
That was cool.
Yeah, there was things there that we didn't figure out. There was
Yes.
that character creature thing we heard but then couldn't
Skitter.
find.
Mysterious.
Oh
Um,
right.
Yeah.
There was Elias's room that Elias chose not to
Open the door.
for so
You put some work in on that one, though, I will say.
Oh my gosh.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but Sola's respectful. Like she wouldn't want to just like barge into somebody else's life. She would want to be invited in.
She might do it out of like excitement. I could see her just bursting and being like, "I have great news" or something.
oh,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like I just baked this pie.
yeah.
Let me in your house.
Oh, this is your room.
Fights herself over a lot.
Well, I've been
Someone's
thinking about what
bad
his room
neighbor.
would look like since then. So.
Yeah, exactly. Well, now
Yeah.
because I think that we need to see it sometime, and then you better have a mystery in there because otherwise, what was all that set up
What's
for?
the point? Open the door and there's that weird creature and there's like,
Right. Oh, there it was. What room we didn't go into?
Surprise.
wow, who would have thought?
It's really just Goromir tied up.
That's crazy.
The real Gorby.
That was a twist we didn't see coming. So yeah, backing up though.
Yeah.
So we said goodbye to Ishif. I think we covered that, right?
A little
in
bit.
in our last one.
Yeah, Eon would have just been revived, so I'm not sure how much that would have came into the Can't Make Wednesday. Probably like Ishif would have just been left.
The last bit of it.
Yeah, which is bittersweet, but
Totally. And so then Eon picked things back up with us, and I feel like it's now been, probably in game, it would have been a month or two to have Eon
Pushing
back.
close to it, yeah.
And I'm feeling like that feels natural again. At first, it was like a little bit like, wow, things
Walking
are
on
weird again.
eggshells.
Yeah, because things have changed again, but they're the way they were before, and so But anyway, so that feels good again. I feel like
It was like pretty emotional for me as like a player and a person
Yeah.
when like Janelle threw that RP on me that I didn't know, and she was just kind of like, "Oh, Rhaenyra, like did I die?"
Yeah.
It is just like it's a really serious conversation, and like I honestly was like, I don't know, because like normally when people die, like there's a body, and like or like how we like die people, it's like how we make them die is like like we chop their heads off or things like that, or we
There's
throw
some
them on fire.
finality
But it was
to
like,
it,
but really in game, like my character didn't see any of it happen.
None of us did.
Just suddenly,
Except Scream.
I noticed that they weren't there, and we killed the dragon.
Yeah.
And then death here is permanent, but in the game you come back, and then so did you die?
Yeah.
Is that truly death?
Yeah.
And so
In the game, what do the zeros mean?
exactly. So something memorable for us for quite a while. So
So it was quite interesting, like how easily it all kind of came back together. I found.
Yeah.
I don't know if I mentioned this, but like there was a few like order of events things that was just insane to me. It was like I prepped the vault because you guys ended up like going in there and then not going in there and then like kind of pursuing it. And in that vault, you found an item that literally allowed the Everlove to exist in the material plane, because otherwise it would have been like she gets popped out for a second, then she goes back.
Right. Yeah. So that wasn't
planned.
No.
Oh,
No,
shit.
because I had no idea that
all of that.
was gonna, you were gonna roll the thing, the divine intervention,
Right.
and then I was like, oh, holy fuck. As soon as the Everlove comes down, she's like, whoa, what do you guys got? We gotta do something here. I got a chance.
Yeah.
And so now she is in that bottle.
Rolling around in a bottle.
Where did you guys think of like the visual concept of like the Everlove? How it's like that like little girl.
Oh, me.
It's really creepy to me.
Yeah.
Every time I try to picture it in my head, and the way you describe it, I just picture like the girl from like The Ring. But then you play it as very like she's like this innocent, like even though she's like this god, but she like portrays herself as this like innocent child, right? Am I getting that correct?
I don't know about innocent, but she definitely has her form is childlike.
Yeah.
I don't know if her actions or words give anything but a god.
Well, she split another god in fucking two, so...
Yeah, that's a deity of the fire plane.
Well, that
Not
ends...
a deity, but like whatever.
Well, and you're talking
Lighting.
about Lyther Tyler.
Yeah.
And her
Oh,
involvement
yes,
in that.
yes.
Yeah, like...
In that drop, yes.
And that was insane, that we've always been wondering, especially from Two Hills, what did that, fresco that you saw, and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, by the way, it was the Everlove that went, here you go.
Yeah. And so the Everlove is a being entirely of your own creation. That's not D&D lore.
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. And so,
None
you've
whatsoever.
kind of got a blank canvas then for what may happen next.
Exactly.
Yeah. So craziness, and in a way, then you're also passing that torch over
Now to Darryll.
to
a little
Darryll
Great.
because an upcoming mini-series
Yeah.
that is going to focus on Yishif
Shift Yarrow.
Yeah.
and that story. And presumably the Everlove is going to play into it because Yishif has the Everlove.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
No spoilers.
No spoilers, but it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were literally just before we started recording discussing what we are all going to do with that because we're still figuring that part out as well.
Yeah.
Do you have a name for the miniseries yet? Or is that...
Got
Not
a
ready
few
to
i-
reveal
got,
it.
got a
Yeah.
few ideas.
Okay.
tossed
Got a
around.
few
Yeah.
Ooh.
Alright.
Very cool, very
Exciting.
nice. But that's something I wanted to clarify in like the lore, like because Forgotten Realms is very like specific about certain things. There was a time like when gods could go on the material plane. I've mentioned that a few times, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And like they chose to either take a physical form or inhabit a mortal, essentially,
Wear a
right?
meat suit.
Yeah, wear a meat suit. So since that event, gods have not been allowed back on the material plane in full form. Right? So like anytime you get like a little feeling, it's like a little bit of an essence, like a 1/1000th or something like
Yeah.
that. So the fact that the Everlove is just literally
Yeah,
Oof.
out
Yeah.
and about there,
That is
that's
pretty
kind of
crazy.
a big deal.
kind of a big deal.
Like in ways that we really didn't understand.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a problem
Oh.
for a few reasons, but yeah, I'm glad I don't have to think about it.
It's somebody else's problem.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't worry about it
Have fun
any.
with that one.
Of course.
Well, I can't wait to create a whole bunch of characters to cause some chaos in
Yeah,
all of
that'll
that.
be fun.
So,
Yeah.
but anyway, so yeah, that's all of that. Back to Silvery Moon.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Is there any like characters you guys really liked, or moments you thought your characters kind of grew from?
Vimrock made me laugh.
Yeah.
Everyone-
That guy, I was so suspect of him for quite a while.
Yeah.
Like,
No, we were like genuinely like, this is the...
yeah.
I
This
was
is
not.
Yeah.
I was not. I was like
No?
texting Josie. I'm like, I was like, bro, the conspiracy theories that were happening in that car after you got out. And I was like, I'm not. I was like, I'm not.
Us.
Yeah. Well, I didn't tell him what they were, but I was like, there's conspiracy theories happening, and I'm like, I don't think you're this. Like, when
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
busy, and I was like, I don't think he has this much time to invest in this deep, heavy storyline. Like, he's a student and he's busy.
But at the same
That's
time,
funny,
like,
yeah.
that's credit to you that
Yeah.
you can just bait that hook, toss it out,
Oh,
and
it's
be
so
like,
easy too.
we just.
Yeah.
And we're also very
Yeah.
mistrustful as a group now.
Yeah.
Well,
because-
gee, I wonder why.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he seemed to know too much.
It does
So-
be way too fast, and
Yeah.
you know, like,
Yeah, the perfect spells for the perfect
yeah,
times.
yeah, you know, like
Yeah.
this has all happened before.
We still got the twist though, right? Because like the first dragon we fought we thought it was Chulth.
Yeah,
It
that's
wasn't.
true.
That
You
was
know, all of a
yeah,
sudden,
just
yeah.
different
Yeah.
twist,
Twist,
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was still shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Good twist, good build up. Yeah.
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 I actually do have a question. It's not technically an NPC though. You're asking like what we liked.
Yeah, of
Because
course.
you mentioned it to me like socially one time. Maybe I was drinking. I don't remember exactly what you said. But it was because you
Probably.
mentioned how we didn't really interact with those like dog type things
Yeah.
in the field. What if we had?
Puppets.
What would have happened?
Oh.
I think one of us had to make a saving throw off of it, didn't
Yeah,
we?
yeah, I think
You
it's
did.
saving throw.
Yeah.
And if you failed it, you are compelled to pet the creature.
Oh, Lord.
And while, yeah, you know, I'll say this. The biggest thing is like if one of you guys took it, it would give you a +2 charisma checks.
Oh, son of a bitch!
Oh.
So
that's
intimidation,
crazy.
persuasion,
Yeah.
performance, whatever, because they're little cute little guys.
But you had to keep it with
Damn.
you all the time.
Yeah.
Now we know that,
Yeah.
so we can't go back and do
Yeah.
or they're all dead.
it. They're just like, where's our supper?
I tried to drop that like in some ways, but I guess
You can't.
none of you are like big like pet people.
We're not big pet people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
We are in real life.
Yes.
But yeah,
in
like,
game,
you
we're
can't-
not. Yeah.
be different.
In real life, we all would have been like all over it. We would have taken them
Yeah.
home. We would have.
No emotional baggage.
Yeah.
Sometimes I add stuff that's cool, and I just maybe they'll play with it. And it'll be a reward for whoever plays with it.
I could tell that Gormier was really interested in
I
them.
wonder why.
Yeah.
He's mean.
That's crazy.
I'm kidding.
Wow.
That's crazy.
But yeah.
Other fun characters, though, I liked Gormier. I liked his interactions with Elias. That was a really cool dynamic. Very fun.
Silly.
Yeah.
It showed a different side of Elias that we had never really
Yeah.
seen, actually.
That's
Yeah.
kind of the intention, honestly.
But you're always like, your character's so serious in
Yeah,
this.
exactly.
Yeah.
And like
Very
there's
serious,
a
very
very
uptight.
clear level of like respect that we have for you too,
Yeah.
like of what you bring to the table. So we talk to you in a certain way, and
Yeah.
it's just like the way that Gormier
Really
interaction, he was just
professor.
very
Huh?
He's so
What the
relaxed.
hell? Yeah. No, that was like actually like very much the intention.
because you were more
Honestly.
comfortable with Gormier though I found than like Casper.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did love like the little shithead sibling bits.
Yeah.
Like the you're such a pain in my ass. Like
Yeah.
just freaking
Yeah.
listen to me.
Yeah.
Like
Piece of shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that interesting too because like we have that kind of sibling relationship, but it's very like based on like teasing and
Yeah.
like one-upping each other and very like
Yeah.
competitive. Where
Yeah.
that was like a genuine
That was an awesome
sibling.
moment.
Like
yeah.
like
Yeah.
I'm older than you.
It's like,
You need to listen to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
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 Like get a job.
Job.
Successful
Get a real
entrepreneur
job.
owning his own business.
Get a real job.
Exactly. Get a real job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely the like inspiration for like the Casper Elias relationship is that like it's like your sibling that you probably should have spent more time with, and now you're trying to like you're like I want to reconnect with them, but it's so weird and awkward, and you're like, oh, I love you, but oh,
Yeah.
is like that kind of where it's like wanting to make the effort, but it's hard, so it's like trying to play that.
That's awesome. I liked it.
Do you have siblings in real life?
Yeah, I have a
Yeah.
younger sister, so
Ah.
Okay.
They're older.
inspiration. Yeah. So it's easier to play from real life always.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just rewatching actually like our latest episode, I guess maybe before this one, like the chronology how they're gonna be uploaded, was when that colleague of yours was after like the whole
Oh
kerfuffle.
my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like Josie was like, "Well, you remember like their thesis?
Yeah,
you
that's
don't
about
really
it.
remember like the last name." And just like the whole interaction was just like, "Oh hey, you." It was like-
And then she forgot her name and like, was just out of it. Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
a lot. It's like I don't give a shit
Yeah.
about you.
No.
Yeah.
Ooh, what's your
Yeah.
work about? Like, let's see what this is.
all
You
of
know.
that, but
Yeah.
I was rewatching that one too. Actually,
Yeah.
that was really funny.
Yeah.
Just take your goddamn inspiration.
Because
Yeah.
you rolled like I think something for perception, and then we're like we all kind of like balanced out. And then Solo was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, that's the one you know. Okay, go." And
Oh man. Yeah.
Good times. I liked Casper, which we now have said.
Yeah.
And I also thought it was really neat to talk to a couple of dragons who were not
Yeah.
evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially that first one, where it was like
You like that, eh?
that was
That
the
was-
cool.
That was
Yeah.
surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That person was a dragon?
Yeah, we were so surprised that we were a little bit dumbstruck, I think. Didn't
Mhm.
know
Yeah.
what do you
Yeah.
say to a normal dragon.
Didn't fully process
What
that.
can you say to a normal dragon?
That just is hanging out in
Hey,
the
you want to
dragon
come
store.
help us?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So come here often.
There's a dragon at the dragon store.
That
So
you're
on the
hacking
nose.
to bits in the basement.
Yeah.
You know. Hacking other dragons.
Yeah, that's true.
They were already dead.
Yeah.
It's different.
natural causes, right?
Humane.
Well,
You got like
Choke-
smallpox or
choke causes.
something.
That was fun though, because it's like we're only coming across like evil dragons that are very like you are not talking to them at all. Really, there's not really much like, not like role play there, but
Yeah.
you know. So
Yeah.
it's like interesting to have like there's a whole span, there's a whole range.
Mm-hmm.
So it's beautiful.
And that's something that'll kind of become, not to like spoil or put anything, but like there are metallic dragons that are like high
Yeah.
up and like ancient and whatever. And like the question now is like, why haven't they already gotten involved? Right? Because this is becoming a cross-continent issue, which is where they kind of take the moment to step in, typically.
Yeah, and so, because for a good metallic dragon, is the coming of Tiamat a bad thing?
Horrible thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably like one of the worst things that could happen.
Right.
Mostly because Bahamut can't cross that line.
Sure. Yeah.
So
And so Tiamat, she would probably want to enslave the good dragons or something, or destroy them.
Destroy them, enslave them, make them hers. Like there's a lot of different things she could have planned for them, but like it's negligible if she actually gets to the material plane. It's kind of like it doesn't matter at that point, you know.
Right, yeah.
She gets there, but yeah.
well, it doesn't help now too that the god has walked on the earth again.
Yeah.
So it can be done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if any word of that gets back, like.
And then you might get gods going, well, okay, then we need chosen again.
Yeah, let's try a little hard, or let's try a little harder ourselves.
Yeah. So that's something I'm also kind of like that hasn't been like since the gods have kind of like gone back up. They haven't had like chosen,
Right.
like picked out.
Yeah,
like,
probably
there isn't
like
anything official, right? Like there is like high level like whatever, but
yeah, the closest we're getting to it is people like the Meteor Knight.
Yeah.
Sort
Potentially,
of.
yes.
Potentially.
Yeah.
And nor maybe.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Because he's a chosen of Beelzebub. I think you guys have that information.
Yeah.
Right. A little bit like Ishif sorta was, kinda.
Potentially,
I guess Sola in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Arguable, yes.
Sola
You fell
is-
into it, kind of.
Yeah,
like,
she's maybe not been like told directly by Lythertida,
Yeah.
like you are now my chosen, arise or something. Yeah,
But, like,
but
the-
like she just is like a, I don't know. She's a minor character, but in the realm of Lythertida, in the space of Lythertida, she's like the only major player left in the realm essentially. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, like there's still your grandfather and your grandmother, and
Yeah.
not. It's not
There are
a
a
huge.
couple of
It's not a
others.
huge
They're
following.
Not, they're not out and about trying to like
Yeah.
change the world.
No,
though, like
yeah.
like
Word's a good
Sola
word.
maybe is. Yeah.
Spread the good word.
Give him the good book.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. Curious though.
Indeed.
Character transformations. This arc.
Yeah.
We were just kind of mentioning that, but I think everyone's had something that definitely has happened that has maybe kind of altered how they think of their character or like their physical character sheets.
Yeah, for sure.
Coming to mind, like, Sola got to interact with Meteor Knight. Kenzie with Elias is now Dragon Touched,
Yeah.
kind of. You know, you got that.
You got the greenie.
You got the green.
eye.
Yeah,
Wow.
green eye. Rainier as well got some information, and
Yeah.
Ramsey got a whole new.
Everything new. Yeah, completely.
New fit.
Yeah.
It's got a new drip.
Yeah.
Less drip, actually.
Gotta get the drip still.
No, that one, it's. I really enjoyed playing the character, but it was just, especially now with rule changes and stuff, there's just wasn't much room to grow, and like I've talked to all you guys about it, like just time and time again, like through battle, it's like, there's not much that I was getting done. So, it was just kind of something I'd thumbed around with about too, because like with the Blood Hunter, like with that subclass of it, like even if I died, it didn't matter if you would revive me like that, I'd still lose it anyways.
Lose what?
The curse.
You would lose the curse even.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, if you
If
like
you
completely.
Oh, yeah.
Is that, and is that a mechanic of the class?
That's the mechanic of the class.
I don't
Oh.
think. I don't know. Well, maybe.
No, it was. That's when I was reading through it, because
That's just very interesting.
yeah,
I would not have done that, but
No,
you would have woken
I
up
know.
and you would have been like, Wolverine. Yeah, I'm Wolf again.
But it, like
Okay.
in it, it's like you lose it. It's gone. You died. You know.
And so yeah, let's talk about this for a second. So, Blood Hunter. If you had stayed Blood Hunter, like what would the subsequent levels have done for you? Is there?
Oh,
is there much?
you do get some pretty interesting stuff. Like you end up being able to control more of the Hemocraft side of it. where like some of the blood curses that were coming were kind of cool. Grim psychometry I thought was really one of the coolest things, but I just wasn't able to use it as much as I'd like to have. You know, like there wasn't a whole ton that really kind of was piquing me, especially with the direction I saw us going.
Sure.
So even though like I can say it now, like Josie and I had discussed at one point me becoming the bad guy and flipping the script on everyone. And the whole process was that if we got back to Waterdeep, I'd destroy my family, take you guys on, and then however it ended, I'd have taken power in Waterdeep that my father was after.
Interesting.
So
Could have gone that way, but
yeah,
there's-
but
that
it
was
was
like
that was early on.
Yeah,
And, like,
that was
I-
just like one potential storyline of many, maybe.
Yeah.
yeah, and it would have to be like you have to think of it not as like linear, as in like
Yeah.
this thing happens and then we go and get to the stage.
Yeah.
It's like from when I'm creating stuff, it's like this thing happens and then we have like 3 things,
Yeah.
right? And then from those 3 things on each of those,
Yeah.
right? And eventually we get to like the ending here, but like the way you guys get there is like
Yeah.
so like different.
Jagged line.
And it does impact the ending, right? So like for Ramsey to be a villain, it would have to like
There'd be a few things.
there would be
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 different events where you guys would have to like, you know, interact in some way, and like your actions would move Ramsey towards villainy.
Right,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Eon
specific
dying
kind
was
of-
one.
Very
though.
specific.
Eon dying was one that
Very specific.
really his give a fuck
Sure.
went out
Yeah.
the window.
Yeah, I think I sort of felt now and then that there were some times when there was some, pressure happening from Ramsey, some sort of like a tendency towards anger or evil or
Yeah.
something. So I guess I could see how eventually that could have occurred. I think that probably like all of us here at the table are glad it didn't because we like it sort of ties into how you're playing a new class but you're still the same character. We're
Yeah.
preserving that character because we're all invested in our characters and we're also kind of invested in each other's characters.
Yeah.
And we care about Ramsey
Yeah.
and his continued existence. And so,
Yeah.
you know, if
Yeah.
he had turned against us in some way, probably that would have been very sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and well, I like to try and like push emotion.
Yeah.
Like that's part of my thing. Like you guys seen how I DM. Like I like to push buttons on certain things, but again, like it very quickly, like we had spoken about it, but then it was like it won't work.
Yeah.
You know, like it'd be too much pushing the story in one direction and not letting it organically just flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was mostly like just the mechanics and stuff were really becoming
little too
disadvantageous.
constrictive.
Yeah, and there's only so much that Josie can do on a DM and to help with that without it being like, cool, we're gonna give you like this exceedingly pointed. This is just because you can't do anything, weapon, item, whatever. You know, like when you said like, well, you can't all have flying brooms.
Yeah, totally.
And
know,
like,
like-
fuck man, I tried.
I know. Yeah, it just
15-foot like unarmed
Yeah.
attacks didn't mean fuck all.
Yep.
Dimension doors once per long rest didn't mean fuck all.
yeah.
And, like that was a homebrew, so it's just kind of like
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything else I can really do. Like if,
Right.
if you're not getting it, you're kind of not getting it. You know?
Yeah, like, well, or it's something that would happen, and then oh crap, blew that. Like
Right, I already
Can't do
used
that.
that. So
Yes,
now,
Shit.
now I
gone,
need- have
yeah.
another situation where I
Yeah.
need it, but I don't have it. So yeah.
yeah,
So anyway, I think that where you are going now is great because it
Yeah.
gives the group an element that we don't have.
Yeah.
It kind of like fills a new niche.
well,
Yeah.
and it gives him some room to play too, because
Yeah.
so far like we really haven't had to be stealthy. You know, where there's a lot of times where we could make that an issue. You know, but now we have the ability to work with it, and like since Kenny left, like there hasn't been a door.
Yeah, we haven't had any chests.
We haven't had a chests or doors
Everything's
or
locked.
like we live in a pretty trusting world.
Yeah.
Everything's wide open. Like,
I mean,
That's crazy.
to be fair, to be fair, you guys have gone to cities.
Yeah.
I do have plans for like the next arc where you will be kind of going to more locations.
Yeah, okay,
and less
cool.
so like cities. It'll be like we need to go to like this ravine or this valley, and it'll be like within that there'll be 2 or maybe 3 locations that you could go to, right? And like they're all tied to specific, things. So
Yeah. And the locked door at the bottom of this.
And there's a
ravine.
maybe one of them will all be locked doors. Who knows?
Just a building of locked doors.
No. Elias's house.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, if you need into that room,
It's like
Crazy.
for a price.
Yeah.
Oh.
But anyway, I'm excited. It's an archetype for our group that we don't have, and
Yep.
it's
Yeah.
gonna bring something new. So yeah.
I am
I'm
looking
excited.
very much for it. And I tried to make it so that it the disadvantages of Ramsey 1 were not necessarily negated anymore, but it was I had options now. Like I have the ability to combat from range, but also be up front and still trading blows if need be. Like just the versatility to move in and out a bit. So that was one of the kind of the things I wanted to, like, because when I look at it, we have like kind of the way it being set up is like before it was 3 up front and then 2 in the back. Well, now we have just that extra layer of,
Yeah. Almost like a mid-range, and it's a little bit flexible.
Well,
malleable
yeah,
between
like
the two.
there's still the triangle
Yeah.
up front, but it's more fluid, I find now for us.
Sure.
It'd be cool to see more like combat synergies.
Yeah.
They'll kind of pop up.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to it.
Ramsey's got a lot of changes, obviously.
Yeah.
How are you feeling for your character, Amy?
I'm pretty excited. So we officially made Rhaenyra 2, which is just the 2024 version of her.
That was a big upgrade.
But Josie and I have kind of talked about how her new stuff is going to come up, I guess, through lore, kind of through how the last session ended off. But I made it clear to everybody at the table, especially the DM, nobody's going to know how Rhaenyra is going to be reacting.
Right.
It's seeing her uncle and his, I guess, daughter or child bride or something. I was like,
Be nice to
but-
Saren. She's had a rough life.
Oh no.
but it's, I'm going to
a lot.
keep that to myself.
Yeah.
But I will say, what her reaction will be based on is that I think Rhaenyra has grown up a lot.
Yeah.
Just, especially going through Eon's death as well.
Yeah.
Going through that and kind of like, in a sense, losing Scree, who's kind of like her opposite, but kind of like her balance in a sense as well.
Yeah.
And just someone that was there for her even though they weren't there, it was just someone that they relied on.
The sounding board.
Yeah, so that's what her reaction will be based on. Is that she's
I
been
am-
things a lot of change. She's maybe not as emotionally reactive as she used to be, thanks to really both of you to kind of like speak to her and things like that. But she's not gonna react. I think especially you. I don't think you're gonna expect.
You don't know anything.
You don't know anything. You don't know anything.
You don't know how I'm gonna do shit.
It's just killing him that he doesn't know what I'm doing.
That's mine.
Oh, you're gonna make Josie improvise.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Make the DM.
Well, I was like, I texted him right after. I was like, do you
Who does
want?
stuff
I was
So
like,
like
you're
that?
making each other improvise.
Yeah.
well, I was like, do you want to know how she's gonna react? And he's like, well, do you know? I'm like, do you? I was like, want to know. And he's like, I don't know, it's up to you. And I was like, okay, well.
This is like right now, this is the biggest game of chicken.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like they're like 2 cards.
I
just
do. I'm not even like I do. I know exactly how she's gonna react.
Yeah.
Like, already, so. No matter how long, if we start your small campaign next, I'm ready for it.
I don't even know how I'm gonna fucking react. So
Yeah.
But I did. There was a hypothetical that I shot out to Josie maybe like 3-4 weeks ago now.
Yeah, wow.
But it was based on the last episode that I guess will be uploaded, the cliffhanger that involves me heavily. But I didn't know that was going to happen, obviously. None of us did. But there was that time when we fought Chalth and there was like those soldiers and we had that one prisoner.
Yeah.
So that's the question I wanted to present to the group as this hypothetical.
Okay.
So originally, if we had done this in game and I talked to Josie about it, was that I was really inspired by that scene in Mulan, in that cartoon, when the Huns kind of capture those 2 communicator liaison people and they kill one. Well, like they send the 2 of them back with like a message and then they kill one because they're like, well, only one needs to send back a message. Right? To just like, let's send a message back to show that like we've killed the other person and that we mean fucking business kind of a thing. So I thought I knew how Eon, Sola, and Elias would react, but I had no idea how Ramsey was going to react. So, because you were like, oh, like, he only speaks your language, and whatever. Was that I was going to approach Ramsey and be like, let's fucking free this guy and send him back to my fucking uncle and tell him that you're still scared to confront me. But I think, and this is what I think Sola would have said no. I think Eon would have said yes. Elias would have said yes, and I don't know what Ramsey would have said. But then Josie said Sola and Rhaenyra are close though, and she would do anything for Rhaenyra. So if Rhaenyra wanted it, she would do it. But...
That's probably true.
and Eon's just a bit chaotic, and I feel like you're a little bit chaotic.
Got me there.
You're right.
Oh, but I'm taking that right now. So I'm like, well,
Sola's deal is that she is here to help others with whatever they want. And so if this was a thing that Rhaenyra decided she wanted, like even if it was maybe like slightly ideologically opposed to what Sola would have been normally, she would probably go along with it anyway.
She could find a way to justify it.
Yeah.
Because it was, well, it's what is good for you.
Yeah.
And that's, Sola's done that a few times with people before, like with Eon and wanting to take blood from that river. This is what is good for you. You should do this.
Oh, Ramsey is screaming, red flag! Red flag!
Yeah. But see, that's why I wasn't really sure how Ramsey would have reacted, because a part of me was like, maybe he'd just be like, yeah, go for it. But then he's always kind of like our compass.
Yeah, Ramsey.
Right? Yeah, and we want to do like crazy things. He's like, maybe not. Like, let's not touch that tree, or like, let's not stick our hand down that hole. Or
he's always been sort of like the protector of the group.
Yeah.
I feel like. And so when he feels like somebody's making a bad decision or the wrong decision, he kind of wants to stop that in a way.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether that'll continue too.
yeah.
I think Ramsey's probably still the same person. So,
Yeah.
you know,
For the most part.
Well, that is a good question, because like I know we didn't record or post this, but Ramsey did have like some anger
Issues.
even after
Yeah.
the wolf has kind of left. So
sure.
that might be something you kind of might want to play around with. If does Ramsey still feel that connection, or is it just like a lingering effect? When you get stuck in a cycle.
Yeah.
Right, and you're not even feeling the emotion, but you're acting out on it.
It's muscle memory almost. Just he always will be like it's built into him to
react.
Well, to be wary and guarded up just from his whole life. Like,
Totally.
It's a learned trait.
Yeah, he's always going to be the guy who sits with his back to the wall looking at all the doors.
Well, like if we like RP'd it right now, right? Like Rhaenyra approaches you, like what would you say to her? Like I just said what I said.
Oh,
Wow.
I don't think it's a bad idea necessarily, but...
No, I know it's a bad idea. That's why I want to do it.
Well, no. It's not always a bad idea. But if we're going to do it, we need to do it right. You need to make the biggest statement possible.
We brand him.
Okay.
And cut.
That's crazy.
Save it for the stream.
Fuckers. That's crazy.
We'll do like a bonus scene.
Have to be
We'll
on you
record
guys.
a bonus scene after.
Cut that shit.
Rhaenyra's dream. And she was like,
We brand him.
Well, yeah, that's one way to send a message, I guess.
Nice.
I think we can
Amazing.
get more creative.
On the topic of Che,
Yes.
so
Dynasty.
I was a little surprised. We'll get to maybe the Che as a whole in a minute. When we were on the way to find Shelth, we came across sort of those like Chil's minions, and there was like that entourage.
And we just, like,
from
watched
Che who
the-
came and
yeah.
watched. Yeah.
The time where we actually made the right decision, you mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
Was it the right decision?
Let's not just go crashing in and fight somebody.
Yeah, not like our DM had it all planned out.
Right. And I mean, who's to say what we missed by not getting involved?
Right.
Is
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
like I found it very interesting that Rhaenyra was confronted with a sort of I don't know, a high up person from Che, and still chose to hang back rather than like take this opportunity to have some, I don't know, revenge or to send a message of her own or something.
Well, that's the thing is, like, I think she's more, like, emotionally, like, controlled. And I think she has a very specific way and thought of how she wants to get her revenge. Like, not a mindless, like, blinded. Like, that moment in, like, Batman with Robert Pattinson, where at the end he kind of loses himself, when he's, like, literally beating the person to death, and he's like, holy shit, like,
Wait a
I'm
minute.
losing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. like, kind of a scene where, like, they're pulling him off. Like, the police are like, what are you doing, kind of a thing. I think she's kind of had that moment, especially when Eon died, like I said. And it's like, I think she's got it in her head, for sure, how she wants to enact her revenge. And it's not by, I wouldn't say innocent people, but by killing people who are not her uncle, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, even by association, I think will not, like, satisfy her hunger. Like, that's not what she wants.
Interesting.
And it's like, I think it's about sending a message, sure, like with the prisoner and whatnot. Yeah. But it's almost like with the prisoner, it's about like impatience, right? Like, it's like, how long are you just gonna like hide, essentially?
Yep.
But like for the longest time, though, it was that like he didn't see Rhaenyra as a threat, right? And yet felt the need to spy on her and like, you know, do these other things. But then you helped me reveal a lot of information quite a few sessions ago that he was scared of me. Right? And things like that. So I think a lot of that has pushed her arc to not be so blinded by her rage and violence, be a lot more guided and a lot more clear.
Well, I like to think she's more strategic.
Yeah, that's the word.
Like,
yeah.
she knows killing these peons, what's that gonna achieve?
Yeah.
Like, no, if I'm gonna strike, I'm gonna make it count.
When I think also, like, okay, so we kill these people, like, okay, great, like, send the fucking message back, like, he'll find out that I killed these people. But then it's also, I think the clearest message is that Rhaenyra's been killing fucking dragons.
Yeah. That,
Right?
I'm not wasting my time on this. I'm gonna take out something that's worthwhile. Yeah.
I do wonder, though, if we had got involved.
Yeah.
Curious.
But like, whose side would we take, you know?
Yeah.
And it was like, who are we just taking out everybody?
I feel like that would be a
Yeah, right?
kind of like waiting
Could
for
have gone anyway.
Stay back, let them do it, just take pot
And
shots.
then, yeah.
The way, I mean, it was an even fight pretty much. Yeah. So you guys jumping in on either side or to take down all of them, it would have been. It was totally up to you guys. Yeah, kind of take that opportunity if you wanted it, and like the obvious, little hook there is like you might find someone who knows a little bit of what's happening in the Qing dynasty right now. Yeah. Which you don't have information on. But you guys chose the safe option, which was let's just see where she goes and not interact, which,
And clearly there were the reasons why we did that as well, because we were a little more focused on Shelf.
Yeah.
Yes.
We didn't
and not like wasting our
we had
spells.
Well, and we had no clue that that they were even going to be there.
Yeah.
Like this was oh, wait a minute.
Oh, shit.
Like, hold on, who's this? What's happening? Oh, wait. And even for us, it kind of answers some questions, because we thought, okay, what if
they were in
your uncle...
cahoots.
Exactly, what if your uncle's
Which
working
they
with
were,
the dragon?
but there was
They
kind of
were
like
trying to.
tension.
But it's,
Because really, we hadn't had that connection, like, so that's the Silvery Moon connection, but we went to Two Hills underneath, like, that cave, and there was, like, symbols from, like that was way before my story was really introduced, though, so, yeah.
Well, and then...
See, and remember she saw those crates, though, and she just, like, destroyed the crates.
Yeah,
like, she just, the symbols.
Which now, I don't think you would have done. Like, if they were there, you just kind of...
That's why I will wait for my reaction.
Yeah.
Go a little bit more analytical.
Yeah.
As a DM in that moment, having set up an obvious encounter for us, and then us just kind of like, oh, let's sit back and watch. How was that for you?
Let's make Josie role play a whole battle by himself.
You'll notice the battle was a minute.
So
it went by pretty quick.
Pretty one-sided. Lots of natural 20s in that one.
I mean, it depends on like the purpose of the encounter. That one it's a pretty obvious pro versus cons, right? The pros are you get information, you can maybe get a little bit of loot or whatever, and then cons, you're trying to track down Cholf, and like if you guys roll badly in the fight, you could take some damage.
Right.
But honestly, you could just say, well, we have the spell slots, we can do it, right?
In,
so
in retrospect
how
too,
it
like
goes.
so you're like, okay, we could have extracted information from that chick, but it's like, what if she like died? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
like-
It's just like it. I don't know.
Well,
there's
you
just
know,
like so
do
much
you-
that could have.
Do you
Speak
have
with Dead.
Speak with Dead?
I do.
Oh, you okay?
I don't remember if I had it
At that time.
chosen
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Because I
Cleric,
have to prep my spells.
Cleric, and
daily.
there's 6 million spell
Yeah,
lists.
exactly.
Ooh.
Yeah, and so I would have been pretty like combat loadout at the time.
Yeah.
So I might not have had some of those
Wrecking Ball solo.
Yeah, some of those social spells. So
Yeah.
yeah, but theoretically could have been done,
Yeah.
even if we killed her and come back.
Yeah.
I think the thing is one of the facets of Speak with the Dead is that your enemies that you kill are unlikely to want to talk to you.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah.
I've seen, maybe this is a little meta, but I've seen some people will like use disguise self on themselves
Yeah.
or on other people before they cast Speak with Dead, so you can almost
fair.
Try
Yeah.
give you a
deceive
little.
the spirit
Yeah.
of who it's being
Yeah.
in contact with, and I was like, that's really cool. So
Yeah,
that's also an option. Like, if you have an idea like that, feel free to give her a try. There's lots of kind of cheesy things you can do, which is fun.
I do actually really love that spell, Speak with Dead. There's only so many spells I can take, and sometimes it's
Well,
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seriously.
We should talk though, because I think there's some that cross over between us that I might be able to go with that can free some
So
room
that I
up for
don't
you.
have to have
Yeah.
them. Yeah, maybe.
Good
Yep.
idea.
You know,
Yeah.
like there's, like I have one right now that I specifically took just for Amy. Like I can nuke any kind of divination on somebody for a minimum of 8 hours.
Right.
So
yes.
it gives us the
Gotcha.
ability to be like, poof, we can move around. And
Yeah.
like
And
now
don't be
with,
spied on.
well, now with your ability to hop around, any kind of like scrying, okay, they were here. I can't find them anymore. Where the hell are they? Okay, we get to somewhere with any kind of magical protection. Poof, you're not finding them.
Yep.
Where the hell, so forcing, my enemy to expend resources and do,
Yeah.
beat the brakes off of us like someone did in a library.
You know, Josie and I actually had several side conversations for like.
We're talking about that now? Yeah.
Well, like related to that kind of, because it was kind of like the aftermath of when I talked to him too. But like before that, when we all kind of filled out like Josie's survey,
Oh,
and I was like, it's not that I don't like the combat, right? But I was like, it's almost a bit predictable, right? With where we were at, like these two go over there, me and Solar are
Yeah.
here, and like me and Solar are literally like chasing everybody around to like angle ourselves or try to heal and do that thing. I'm like, it's just kind of happening every time, and that's at one point that's how our characters are. Where like we're not gonna swap suddenly, and I'm gonna be 120 feet away, and you're
Yeah.
right. Like if it is, that's bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, that kind of a thing. But then I thought, really, how Josie set up both Cradleworm
yeah,
Yeah,
that was
Cradle
yeah.
Worm
and Cholf
Cholf.
challenged us and the library, sorry, as well.
That was
Completely
all
challenged us in ways we had never been challenged before. So it didn't matter if you were melee, it didn't matter if you were a spellcaster, like healer, like we were going down, we were going up, it was unlike
Yeah.
anything we had ever done.
that fight in the library. I went back and counted. Was the most times in any combat that we have had characters go down.
Oh, for sure.
But it also
Like
wasn't,
our
these two
biggest-
were far away, these
No,
three were
yeah,
close.
it was like
Yeah.
it
Like it was like no, we were all out because we got
Yeah.
stuck in places
Yeah.
too, right? And then I couldn't leave Sola alone,
Yeah.
which I normally sometimes do because she's good on her
yeah,
own,
it's
but
like,
she
yeah,
wasn't.
you know that, yeah.
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 Well, that
Because if I wasn't near, what would have happened to her, right?
oh
Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
we got dummied right off
Yeah.
the hop.
Yeah.
But that's
But it was
now we
unlike
know.
any,
Should
like the
we-
last three combats were
fun,
unlike
though.
anything we had done.
Yeah. Should we talk about that fight now? Too?
Sure, we
Since
could.
we kind of made it
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we also
the
kind of need to talk
conversation.
about Chelf a little more, but
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We
Well,
could
whatever.
do dragons and then because those were like the main encounters.
Yeah.
So this was like the dragons and then that
Yeah.
was like what I wanted to get done in Silvery Moon for like really hard encounters. So I think from what I heard from you guys was like the dragon encounters were challenging,
Yeah.
but they weren't hard.
Uh,
Right?
yeah,
I think
yeah,
I heard
in
that to some
ways.
degree
Yeah.
because you guys had preparation and
Yeah,
Right.
so it makes sense.
I think a certain like I love the fact that we prepped the first time that we actually came up with a quasi decent plan.
Yeah.
Just the fact that it absolutely went tits up right off the hop was like,
Rolling the dice.
That's-
yeah, you know, like
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
And then to the end, like even the chase, like we got lucky with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
for
like
sure.
you being able to do 60 feet a
Yeah.
turn. Me just going, come on, little one.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah,
whoa.
three of us
Yeah,
were pretty
exactly.
close the entire
Yeah,
time.
like
yeah.
There was absolutely like, I think that's something we don't think about after a success is how close we sometimes were to failure.
Yeah.
Is because then it's like, oh, we achieved success, everything's fine,
Yeah.
and we move on. But like at points during the Chull fight, there were certainly moments where we were close to some failure. Like that running through the tunnel, trying to keep up with Eon. Like there were a couple of turns where Eon was down or a moment away from down, and we just so happened to do the things that were necessary
Just close
to
enough,
just
yeah.
prevent
Yeah,
it
that is true.
that turn and then be in a good enough position for the next turn as well and so on. So we probably had and sometimes have more close encounters than we care to think about afterwards.
Interesting.
That's what I think anyway.
Yeah. No,
I think you're right.
And so, in the end, it's like, well, we were successful, so how hard could it have been?
I've said it to Josie quite a few times. Like, the combats aren't getting harder; they're getting more challenging.
Yeah, it's more strategic
Which,
now.
which
Yeah.
is what it doesn't need to be harder.
Yeah.
Anybody can just throw bigger, badder at you. You're starting to go. Well, now I'm going to make you think.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to go. Okay, cool. Here's 12 guys that are going to jump you in a library that you weren't ready for. Like, or, oh, yeah, you killed the dragon. That's great. Nobody read that scroll, did they?
Nope.
Oh, too late. There goes Eon.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
just stuff. It's that aspect where it's gotten so much better. Because combat, like Amy's right, combat can become so rinse and repeat. Because it's hard to be creative.
Yeah,
So
you sort of develop a strategy that you like for your character, and then you kind of try to do that over and over again because you know it works.
yeah, like it's again, that like, and that's even like something that I was following in with Ramsey. Like when it took 4 or 5 rounds, but when I got to that point, it's like, okay, now I can make people pay. But it took that long to do.
Yeah,
Like
there
it
was
was
a lot of setup with Ramsey for
Oh
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
But again, though, it's like I always like, and that's where I didn't like it. It was like I was constantly, I got to do this, and I got to do this, and I got to do this, and I got to do this. But I know,
And then I can do damage.
yeah, but I know Solo's gonna do this, Rhaenyra's gonna do this, Elias is gonna do this, Eon's gonna blow everybody up with that fucking OP cannon that they have. Like it was very like, and I totally get it. Where it's like, but now like these past few have really like, oh shit.
I think where
Yeah,
Josie
Vincent.
forced our hand too was that we had to really think about like what action or decision or bonus action, how it affected everybody else.
You had to make a choice.
It wasn't just like how
Yeah.
much damage can I do.
Yeah.
It's like, but what can I also do to benefit somebody else or like heal somebody
Yeah.
else at the same time or
Yeah.
Especially with the library fight, every single action felt so like
very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I do this, what happens next?
Yeah.
Like
The when you
the
went
wall of
timeout
horrors.
bubble,
Yeah.
and
Time of bubble.
but like
Yeah.
that
That
like
saved us a lot.
it saved us
People
huge.
around,
It
yeah.
took out 2 huge damage dealers on them. Yes, did it come at a sacrifice?
Yeah.
Yeah, but at that point, it's like you got to,
It's so
the life over limb
Yeah.
is what we got to
Yeah.
choose.
It's not just like
sure.
the old strategy, and I'm not dissing anybody.
No.
Not anybody at this table. But like it's not like the fireball initiative, right? Where it's just like we're just gonna press a red button and it's like, well, if Rhaenyra's just standing there, then like we weren't recording yet, I don't believe. The,
You can make a deck save, can't you?
references that I'm making. But it's just like
Crazy.
you can't just like fireball, like I'm not saying I'm using fireball as an example,
Yeah.
right? But it's just like you can't just fireball your problems away. Right?
I beg to differ.
People are gonna be resistant. People are gonna counterspell.
Yeah.
People, like it's just
Well,
it's not.
And
Yeah.
to that,
Yeah.
you've gotten so much better with spellcraft on like to it. There's been points where it's like he's made you're like, You see
Should I?
Yeah.
I think every time they've done it has been incredible.
Perfectly timed. Like,
Yeah.
I love a counter
They have
spell.
always been clutch.
Yeah. You've chosen the right moment like every
Yeah.
time I felt.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Definitely wish I could have gotten a counter spell in on that. Like first,
Oh.
whatever the like storm cone
Yeah,
thing,
cold that we.
or like at
Yes.
the library fight, but that
Yes.
was just like
Yes.
wasn't
The
gonna
cone of
happen.
cold, yeah.
Yeah,
the cone of go fuck yourself. Because
Yeah.
that's pretty much what it did to everyone.
that one was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was actually the moment when I was starting to get like we're really scared actually. Probably
Yeah.
legitimately scared
Yeah.
in that fight because like I knew that like I was down and then I can't remember if Elias was down at that time or if they went
Probably.
down because of the quote But anyway,
Yeah.
at some point, like Eon had also been targeted
Yeah.
by
Yes.
that knight guy, and
Yeah.
so she was in rough shape. And then you guys got hit by that cone of cold, and then you were in rough shape, and it was like all of a sudden everybody was looking
Yeah.
bad,
Yeah.
and Sola was out.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it
it's,
was
Yeah.
like, wow, things are like serious.
Yeah.
that's what, I don't know.
I
who-
loved it.
I think it was.
In hindsight, I loved it.
And it was
Always.
like
The
it
horror
was
movie fan
tense
loved it.
and very cool.
Yeah.
But
Well,
like we probably have never been closer to death.
That was
Yeah, no,
well,
that's
that was the whole
But it
time.
was so challenging.
Yeah.
Like that's what I loved about it.
I was telling Amy and Janelle both. I'm like, go fucking. Don't worry about me.
Yeah.
Don't worry about a lot.
No, I'm like,
Go
if you guys,
fucking
if
heal
everybody
Sola.
else dies, I'm like, it doesn't matter because Sola could bring them back. I was like, I can't bring back Sola. I can't do that.
Like,
Well,
Yeah.
Sola can pop up and drop.
Yeah.
Heal. Like you did. And it was
Well,
just
once
like.
I
that
can.
was.
Well, you know what I mean though. Like that's it's a.
Twice.
I'm up. Shit. Boof. Okay. Now everybody's got a fighting
Now we
chance
should
here.
do something.
Yeah.
Because like as soon as that, because it was really only the surprise round
Yeah.
that really screwed us.
For sure.
Because as soon as
But it took her out. It took
well,
Sola
yeah,
out.
like
Yeah.
it put us on the back foot. Okay, we got to get Sola up, and it makes you like. For me, it was like seeing Sola go down was like, oh shit, Josie's not fucking about.
No, first
Yeah.
few turns.
Like this is
That was
this
when
is
things were real.
pointed. Like I'm gonna teach you guys a lesson. Here's what it is.
Yeah.
Like
Like it was my dice kind of like just
Oh,
listened to me.
yeah.
That too.
that
That's
was-
true. Yeah.
My dice
That was
listened to me.
insane.
They said, "No, you're right. They
Yeah.
would just stab Sola." I'm like, "Let's see what
Do
happens."
it. Do it.
yeah.
The advantage was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yep.
Well, you even as soon as you started rolling crap too, it just all
Yeah.
the table flipped.
Immediately.
Very quickly.
We took it well, and when the two of them went poof, like
Yeah.
we got what we wanted, we outie,
Right.
which sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, was that encounter meant to be as hard as it was? Because that was also our first full 2024 encounter.
Yeah.
And I know that, like, difficulty balancing has changed significantly.
Yeah.
And so, like, did you expect it to go as it did? Or, like, what were your thoughts?
I mean, it kind of depended on a lot of different factors. As always, initiative is a huge thing, but one thing I recognized and now I understand is that the 5.5 initiatives for monsters is way boosted. So higher CR monsters are typically acting way higher in initiative now than they used to, which is something I think is good because I don't know if you've noticed, but you guys outpace initiative on my monsters a lot. Most of the time, you guys are all going first.
Yeah.
And then these creatures are going.
Yeah.
So that changed how this encounter went a lot because those three assassins were able to move before you did, right? And they were able to almost drop you. So your only action at that point was the heal, right? And if that hadn't happened where you got to move first, right? Like, what happens if Sola just banishes all three of them? Which was like a real thing. They wouldn't make the saves.
Because Lauren's never done that in a game before.
But you're like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, sure.
I think
Yeah.
I think the difficulty, like I said, this was a hard fight for a lot of reasons because they knew who you were. They were trying to get a specific thing, and they knew kind of how to separate you guys to do that. I think I would maybe change a few of like some of the damages, but not by much, right? Like you guys were pretty good. I'd maybe like lower some of the level of spells.
But we
I
still
think.
survived in the end.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
We made it.
And it's not like I knew kind of, and I think Janelle mentioned this, but like it was also the setting of the encounter was like this is their task force for like just sneaking in to a place where they're not supposed to be and then attacking. It'd be different if you guys were like on the road somewhere or whatever.
Well, and you had even specifically said to us too that like, no, they know who you are.
Yeah.
It's not like this is just we're gonna throw meat into the grinder. No, they were handpicked. Okay, you.
Yeah, like
you,
they were
you.
basically a SWAT team.
Yeah, like it was.
Yeah.
And I should mention, even with the SWAT team, they had 3 people dedicated to just trying to down Sola.
Yeah, and, you know.
That's what it takes to take her down.
Yeah.
Yeah, with sneak attacks, with whatever, and then like whatever. So like
The Mage Slayer.
they were as prepared as they potentially could be at this point right now to take you on, and they still kind of lost. So that's just showing like, oh shit, you know, like they're gonna reassess after this because they lost like everybody minus 2.
Team meeting on Monday.
Team meeting.
Yeah.
We have some new spots we need to fill.
That's a lot of empty chairs in this room.
Do you know anybody looking for a job?
Here's our referral program.
Yeah, lots of opportunities to grow here.
You got a you got a buddy?
We want to talk to them.
I did enjoy Sola's recap as well. That I think Janelle ended up picking you to do the recap, and how she was kind of like, well, you know, like I didn't get to be the hero this time, and you know, like it's okay, like you know, I'm still here because of it. And she's like, well, like no thanks to like Ramsey and Elias.
That's true.
And obviously that was just for laughs because you each played a very pivotal role.
Yeah.
I mean, you banished the 2
Yes.
important guys.
Yeah.
Or Ball forced them.
Ramsey set it on
Ramsey
fire.
was doing
Yeah.
damage with
Yeah, they
fire.
did the library.
Bring down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we may not be actually able to go back to Silvery Moon. Fucking no.
Next time I go there, I don't know him.
You get to I promise I can't do it anymore.
But that was also a little bit of like, you know, Loren coming to terms with what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Because I have built Sola to be very tough and to be a savior.
Yep.
And to then, it's kind of like happened a few times in recent play where Sola has been the one needed saving. And so, you know, being appreciative for the friend she has.
I loved that Rhaenyra could like do that for Sola and like really fully bring her back
Yeah,
because there was like encounters like way ago when like you like were like Sola was like reprimanding Rhaenyra for like healing. And she was like, I'm the healer, like this is what I do. Like, okay, never mind then. And I was like, I'm not gonna heal anybody or even myself for that matter.
I won't even try.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Because like I don't have to roll, you know, like to
you
give
can
60
just-
points to somebody. And like even on your best roll you can't give a full 60 HP to somebody sometimes. So I was like, you know, fuck it, like have it all.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that's like that's the part I love about paladins. It's like the way I look at it, it's like you're the medic, you're the doctor.
Yeah. I can help to like an
You
extent.
you
Yeah.
can go around and go
Yeah.
and,
But like the surgery
I'm gonna
part,
keep
I'm
you
like,
alive, yeah, but
yeah, no.
fuck it, go to the professional,
Just
like
Yeah.
for that,
I'm just triaging.
Yeah, just the,
dead,
just
fuck 'em.
pause.
You know, like
Yeah.
I think it's actually so funny in this world. You can have an arts degree and be a doctor. That's actually great. That's how it should be.
True.
I grew up on the farm. I was just like tending to like animals and stuff. So that's why I
Hello,
don't really know how to
kitty
like.
bandit.
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
Stay away from the metal.
Yeah.
I know I really like the Chell fight, like and the library. I was more like even when you fell off the boat and
Yeah.
were boom, like
Right, yeah. Oh, man.
I was less worried about that, which in all actuality you should have plummeted like a rock.
Well, it was being grappled at the time. But
but
yeah.
like I was less worried about that than like when that first round in the library happened, and I just kind of went, oh no,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. No word of a lie. I actually, as that first round and a half progressed, I was like, boy, am I going to have to like
ruh-roh.
say my, you know, death speech here or
Yeah.
what? So like I was kind of like mentally prepping for that too. So, you know, thankfully not. But it's also something that is always in the back of your mind when you're in a combat.
Yeah.
Especially one that starts going bad. It's like,
Yeah.
boy, am I going to have to like, you know, say my final
Yeah.
words or
Yeah.
what? But
Eulogy.
yeah.
Well, if Sola had gone, Ramsey would have lost it.
Yeah.
Because that's yes, I just got but like he still is not. He's not okay. He'll never show it to you guys, but he is not okay. Like yes, Eon's back, but it's still very like. Hold on a minute, like very doesn't feel entirely real, right. And like Sola's the other anchor since the beginning. It's been the three of them since day one,
right? Yeah.
And if like I've told Josie, I'm like I don't know if the both of them are gone. I don't know how I play this character.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Because
define your character.
His two anchors are gone.
I always find with like you're like even though I'm sure Ramsey knows that like Eon and Sola and especially Sola can like take care of themselves.
Yeah.
He's still very protective of them.
Oh yeah.
Whereas like with like Rhaenyra, especially with like the relationship that we have, it's kind of like let Rhaenyra can do whatever.
Yeah,
like she'll be fine. She'll heal herself. Yeah. She can kill whatever she needs to do.
That,
and these two can do it too. But there's like a very special like.
It's always
like parental almost.
Yeah.
Whereas like you and I are more like the sibling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that the sibling animosity between the two of them. It stems for me is the envisionment of like the fight in the yawning portal and Eon hiding under the table, and it was just here's the flask, and we're just all sitting there for that moment of what the hell just happened. And there's troll everywhere that Sola's already trying to clean up. Like, okay, here we go. Like, what are we getting into?
I'm curious if Sola actually had died. Do you have like any thoughts on what would you do about that?
Yeah, boy, like
Gotta pee.
if Sola died, I would need to take some time away to recover myself. Boy, I don't know. I'd be pretty heartbroken, but that's the game. And if you guys were not able to find a way to bring her back, then. I'm sure you wouldn't stop. But
there'd be.
That's a good question. Solo's never died before, right?
Not died.
Died? Okay.
I've been down a
So,
few times, but
DC 8.
yeah, so it's
Plus whatever checks you guys make
for sure
to lower that DC.
Right.
But it's just like a flat D20 roll at that point. If you come back, you come back.
Right. Yep. So what would I do? Well, eventually I would move on. I would
Figure someone out.
do something else. But I don't know. For the time being, Sola very much wants to be alive.
Yeah.
So
Sola needs to be alive. Like that's as much as like you guys say like Ramsey's like the face or whatever. Sola's the heart.
Yeah.
I think if anyone deserves to be like alive, it's Sola.
Yeah,
we're all like pretty shitty people. But, like,
they paid their chops. Like
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Because if you're like the face, the heart, the brain, and then like the abs or something.
Sorry.
What's Eon then?
Eon.
It's like the soul, I would say.
Yeah. I don't know.
Eon's the engine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The heart.
Eon that keeps it moving.
Yeah.
The blood, the veins.
Yeah, the blood.
Keeps it moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ironically, I did laugh though. Like part of after we were doing like the questions and stuff, like the whole thing that happened with Ramsey. That was kind of me getting back at Janelle. For the whole E-shift flip.
In the Alabaster Halls when
Yeah.
you were force cage. Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of me when she did the E-shift, the hat removal, and I was just I'm gonna make you pay for that one day.
Right.
So
she was legitimately worried.
Yeah.
That you were like,
killing
this
my
is
character.
this is the end of Ramsey. Knife to the heart. I'm done. I'm out, guys.
Yeah,
we were certainly, and I mean in a way you did do that because you used the
last of it. It's gone and
serum on yourself straight to the heart.
The
Pulp Fiction style.
Inspiration. And like the recipe's gone.
Right.
Ramsey specifically doesn't have it committed to memory. The only one who knows it is Eon. Eon's the only one now who knows it.
Okay.
So
Yeah. But yeah, no, that was just.
so
I loved all of that down
A
there
few
too.
things to look forward to,
Yeah.
obviously. But
yeah, definitely in that moment though, like I know I was like, where the fuck's he going with this?
Exactly.
I'm doing now. I'm tweaking.
So anyway, it was very fun. You did it very well. Like I was gripped for sure.
Yeah.
Wondering what was going to happen next, and it's like, are we allowed to like step in and heal him now? Like,
Yeah.
can we help? What's
Is the
happening?
cutscene done?
Yeah. You're
For sure, because that's the funny thing about a narrative. It's like you're clearly telling a story, and it's like we don't want to interrupt, but
Yeah.
as people, as
What do we do?
characters,
What do we do?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
They
we
do
want to
something.
help.
Yeah.
And so
Oh, my character would say this, so.
I've always one of the biggest problems that I actually always had with like the mechanics and the characters, I hated. It bugged me so much turning on you guys.
Yeah, and it was
But
always
it-
like
it
me and
needed-
Solo were like hit us
Yeah,
a step.
yeah,
We're like,
well,
don't.
like,
I'm jumping
I
in
doubt
front
it.
of
Leave him alone.
Yeah.
Well, it's like it was a very cool mechanic,
for
Yeah,
sure,
it was.
but
Great
it was
for
also
story, but
yeah
hard
it was-
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Hard
like
for Ramsey.
Party conflict is
'cause-
hard.
Get over
well, even with the first time with you,
Oh,
it was like
yeah.
Elias is up, whack.
Yeah.
Oh.
Nope.
Yeah.
And then Solo, it was no longer Solo. It was like, it's okay. Solo was getting mad.
Yeah.
Solo was starting to be like, that's enough. Like,
Yeah, she was always trying. She was like grinning and bearing it,
yeah,
but definitely like feeling like a little hurt inside.
that, like, and he could start to see these things, even with you, like, where it was like,
Like my mentality was always like I just didn't want it to hit like Eon
Yeah.
or like is there somebody else? I was like I was just like I can take it. It's okay.
well,
like,
and Rainier was just getting annoyed with it. It's like,
Yeah.
fuck off with this shit already. Like,
yeah, like go see a
Yeah.
therapist. Or,
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, yeah, and mechanically speaking, somebody who plays a blood hunter, maybe for I don't know, a few months or a year, it's like that could be a really interesting mechanic. Whereas us, you were on 2 years now,
Yeah.
and it's after a while, it's like, boy, he's still doing this.
it doesn't happen as often, but it's,
Still fucking doing this shit.
and it's nothing against the Blood Hunter, because I think it's actually a really, really cool class. It's just the subclass that I chose for it
Sure.
can really limit you in certain aspects. So there's quite a few, like the mutant, there's ghosts.
Yeah,
Because
there's
you were
some
talking,
Slayer,
yeah,
yeah.
ghosts.
Like there's a few, but like I don't know. I had to homebrew a lot to get Ramsey on equal power to people.
Yeah,
And like you got to roll a fuck ton of dice and
Yeah.
deal like 100 damage in a turn. But like the setup to that was just a lot. You almost needed like some sort of like time stop ability for you to like fucking rev up.
yeah.
But that's like 15th, 16th level, right? And
Yeah.
Stuff, right.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can only give you so much. And
Yep.
what I gave you was a bunch of spell access and
Yeah, for
extra
sure. Some versatility.
versatility in
Some-
some ways. But if it's not like your thing, you have identified that.
Yeah.
Right? And switching over to something else is the most appropriate when you're not, in that space. You're not having fun with it anymore.
Yeah,
So-
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, and thank you for letting because I know there's lots of people out there who would have been just like, this throws a huge wrench into everything.
Yeah.
Like,
Wasn't what I planned.
Yeah.
well, and that's why, like, when I first was talking to Josie about it, I'm like, look, man, this is just an idea I had. If you have any flags, let me know. We don't have to. Like, I can make this work. But this is just as a player letting you know where I am with this.
Yeah.
It's hard for me,
Yeah.
to like I'll keep plugging it along, but if
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
opportunity presents itself, can we try this?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I loved the moment that you chose. It was a great time to make that switch.
Yeah,
So-
it fit really well narratively.
Yeah.
I mean, even like with the party conflict and stuff, like I guess like above table, it was always dealt with really well too. Like
Yeah.
it sucks kind of doing that in character, but
Yeah.
it takes a lot to like make sure that doesn't like bleed out to like
yeah, like why did you
above
do it?
table.
Me?
Yeah, I feel like there's always like good separation with that.
Yeah.
Which was
Yeah,
good.
absolutely.
It's
That's actually
very
for sure something that I
yeah.
really appreciate about all of you is like we have a very clear separation of
Yeah.
table and player and person rather, and like we've had some conflicts. We've sworn at each other. We've hit each other in the game and stuff like that. No, but we're all doing it with fun.
Yeah.
And there's never been any kind of hard feelings whatsoever.
The table's the table, and away from the table's away from the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's.
Yeah. Very special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always like making sure, like checking up after is like, I
Yeah.
know that was really hard, but
Hey.
it's like I don't feel that way towards you guys at
Yeah.
all. It's
Yeah.
the character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even times narratively where it's like, when Sola and Granddad,
Oh,
remembering that, like,
God,
that's
that
like,
made me
oh,
so mad.
I want Granddad to be so mean to Sola. It was so great how you were.
I almost
It
broke.
was so
I
much
can
fun.
turn it on sometimes.
Bro, I don't know if it was a mechanical pencil or a pen or something, but I'm sitting here and I was just like going on it, and it's like
Yeah.
even Janelle was like moving away from me. I was getting so mad. Again, way to go. It's like
What do you do with a villain you can't hit, guys?
yeah.
wait till everyone's looking the other way.
Because Sola loved Granddad. She doesn't want anything bad to happen to him.
I think that's the only thing that stayed me. And you, both of us were both like, this is one of the very few times that Rhaenyra and Ramsay are agreeing.
Because you don't want to make her
Run.
upset.
Yeah, but it's like, and then Scree found your grandma's dildo.
Right.
You know how it be.
Good times. A couple of more things about Ramsay since we kind of touched about that.
Yeah.
So people will have seen by now that Ramsay is using a new last name.
Yeah.
That's in the previous episode here. And the fun fact, if people were paying attention, will also be related to that.
Cool.
And so, what's how you feeling about that? About giving up the Filan family name?
Oh, he's
Looking forward to new things.
he's done with them. So no more name dropping for us anymore, because
Because you don't have that sort of connection now.
Yeah.
You'll be a little bit
You're going to
estranged.
disassociate? Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't wanna be associated with it
it's-
anymore.
Yeah, he is
Okay.
done. He is done with the Filan family.
Right.
Well, not entirely. Like he's still.
You'll never be fully rid of them.
Yeah, but and he actually over the past while, he's actually started to feel some camaraderie with his brother.
Yeah, I've
That's what it
noticed.
seems
Like it's not
yeah.
Some, considering, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no.
Considering that, prior to this, when we started streaming, there were times when your brother was torturing you tied to a chair. Whereas some of the recent interactions you've had with your brother were almost cordial. And there's a little bit more of like a, I don't know, sane connection.
I think he might be seeing, the fact that he came and warned us. Mm-hmm. For me, I think he might be starting to see the other side of it all. Because he's not like the rest of the family. He's different. He's not cursed the same way. So he kind of, and now that Ramsay's gone, well, Wintry's got to pick on someone.
Yeah.
So as before, he used to be able to be out of the way. Now he's in the prime light, and
Do him and Wintry, like, they have the same mother and father?
yes,
But you only have the same father.
I'm the bastard. So,
Okay.
Yeah. So and then even still, like the fact that I went back there, I knew, Josie and I talked, yes, Ramsay's biological mother is hidden in there, and that's something that his father used to lord over him. Maybe one day I'll tell you where she is, but once Tavai was gone, he remembered seeing something in there in the garden, and he went immediately to that one crystal that he thought was her, and the fact that smashed it, and she's not in there. Her stuff's in there, but she's not in there. So I don't even know if she might be alive still. Ramsay doesn't know. and his father could have just been lying to him this whole time. Like, this is all very up in the air. But yeah, I had a separate mother, and
You're the Jon Snow.
yeah, in essence, not as cool though.
You didn't have sex with your aunt, or
That's what we call cool now.
Depends what happened at the docks.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I'd forget that one. No, I didn't.
Why is Ramsey? Oh man,
That's crazy.
You said it, bro. You put it into canon.
True.
But yeah, no, it's
on.
the only one he'd still, and I think, he may try to sway Frederick to be like, hey, they are not the only answer. You can be your own person. You can be whatever the fuck you want to be. But
what is the age of like who's oldest?
Wintry, Frederick, me.
Oh, you're the baby.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And Frederick does not have lycanthropy, correct? Yeah.
No,
right.
he doesn't. He's the only Phyland who doesn't.
Right.
Isn't that interesting?
Why are we emphasizing this?
Yeah.
At the end?
Well, I know what you and I have talked
Any
about,
conspiracy theories, Darryll?
but yeah, it's again, the name change was back to his mother's maiden name,
Oh yeah.
or his mother's name, I should say,
Yeah.
because he doesn't want to be associated with them at all.
And do you think your father will have something to say about that?
I don't think he'll care anymore. He now has gotten what he always wanted.
Because he would have wanted the power that came from
Your friend.
Tavai, was it?
Yeah. That was always, it had gone, he was found wanting, Wintry was found wanting. Never went to Frederick because, but Ramsay, it kind of, maybe it's because it thought Ramsay was like emotionally the weakest, it could bend and steer him in the way it wanted. But again, like I'm in no man's land now on what happens. It's all in this bastard's big beautiful brain. So yeah, it's something that needed to be done. He's trying to prove himself that he is not his family's name.
Hell yeah.
He is, he's Ramsay Stillweaver. Plain old Ramsay Stillweaver.
Yeehaw.
Hell yeah, Ramsay.
Yeehaw.
I think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
That's a good little character arc we got coming
For
up.
sure.
So
Yeah.
that'll be something
cool.
to I have to do a little bit of work for it, but
I still really want to see Rhaenyra and Wintry
I'm
just
waiting for. I've said it many times in
fucking
character. Like,
smash heads.
she sounds really fun.
That's a crazy way of putting it. Fun time.
But yeah, no, it's.
Awesome.
I'm looking forward to what's coming next.
Totally. It was cool character development. So, yeah. I liked it. Good stuff. Well orchestrated.
perchance.
Very cool. Yes, that too. That really well. Yeah, good timing.
What else do we got?
Anything your characters are also kind of looking forward to? Or anything on your mind? That's obviously like for Ramsay. That's kind of like your next arc. But
Yeah.
There's a few different ones.
I'm having trouble with, even though like I'm excited to run this E-Shift one shot and everything. Man, fuck you and your cliffhangers. Cause it's just the way that last one ended, and I'm like,
You guys can't blame me for 2 hours of an RP session in the last 20 minutes. Throw in what I wanted to do. That's not on me, guys.
But there's so much lore.
Yeah.
so many goodies.
Honestly,
Yeah.
though, every session always ends with like the little bit of like a tidbit of what's happening next.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Drag you along.
there's always
Yeah.
something to keep us going, and I love that. So I think it's great that we still are drawn towards what's next. So
I want to see 2 things. One, I want to revisit and figure out more about the damn curse
Me too. Yeah.
And then I really want to look more into like Eon's, like all these siblings that keep popping up. Well, air quotes siblings.
Yeah.
But how they are so different from one another. Like night and day. Like even just Eshif and Eon. Like night and day.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
It kind of
And
feels
where
very
they're-
like, at least the way that I'm kind of envisioning it right now. I don't know if this is like a, like Full Metal Alchemist. There's like the homunculi.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
very
yeah,
like
yeah.
that with like
Yeah.
the 7 deadly sins being like the. If you haven't seen Full Metal Alchemist by now, what the fuck are you doing? So, being like all of the representative sins of like the homunculus and the flask. It's
Yeah.
like that's kind of what it feels like to me.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like it's all part of this one person, but they are very different vices
And
of the same.
with all powers combined,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
turn into Captain Planet.
I've definitely hinted that like each one of these. I think the actual in canon representation was each one of these siblings, like their fascination was a fascination that one of the Everlove's followers had during the time of Calamity, like higher up.
Yeah.
So you're not entirely sure what that entails. Like, were they chosen? Were they like really powerful? Were they not? Were they just kind of like priests? Like that information is kind of lost, but there is definitely like some connections there that haven't quite come out yet. But
Yeah.
I'm really glad I've been able to get out as much as I have on that storyline. Actually, so
Yeah. There's some
that
interesting
that was
things.
very late game, so I was very happy that I got to
Yeah.
sprinkle some things
see
in.
a few tidbits of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very
Wow.
cool.
Yeah, I know. Obviously, Sola. Having just gone to the senior archivist now, Sola knows that there are next steps to take, but didn't know how to take them or where to take them, and so she was looking for guidance, and so got a little bit of that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Go
Sola's
find
looking
the
forward
next.
to that. Yeah. Go do some more dungeon delving.
Yeah,
We haven't done that in a minute, really.
That's
Yeah.
kind of
It's
what I'm thinking for
Yeah,
the
just
next.
like a good dungeon crawl.
Yeah, a little bit. Should be a little bit of a different encounter. I'm gonna try.
test your spell conservation skills.
Yeah.
Or
Let's see how you long rest in a box.
Yep. So Sola specifically, really looking forward to that.
yeah, I guess Elias has a lot of researching to do. As always. I think nothing's changed. I think it'll be interesting though when it like kind of finishes the research phase of like figuring out the curse, and now it's like
Yeah.
okay, you actually have to go out and do something
Yeah.
because the comfort zone is doing the research,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and now it's
Right.
like, what do you mean I have to go out and like
Yeah.
do something about it now?
Yeah.
So
I think now too they have a little more motivation with knowing that their sibling has this it's there.
yeah,
Like it's like, okay, it's not just me. Shit, it's Casper. And then that's that whole awkwardness between the two of you. That's like you want to be you care now. You're the elder sibling who cares and is trying to so now there's that motivation to really push and figure it the hell out.
but they're hiding things from me. Ooh.
Yeah, that sucks.
What?
No, for me the big one, Ramsey's right now with it is going.
That's why I'm not talking.
Yeah.
Like talking about
Yeah,
like what
not
future
much.
intentions or
Yeah.
plans. I mean, I think that was
Yeah.
pretty obvious what her future intentions and plans
Yeah.
were. But this threw me for a loop too.
Yeah.
Like the cliffhanger.
Wow,
so-
nobody
Yeah,
was
we can,
expecting
let's
that.
we can talk about that. I want because
Yeah.
I want to be like what this council meeting is going to be a bit different
Yeah.
than the last one, obviously.
Yeah.
There's different players involved, but also it's not as much of a setup, right? You guys know who's coming.
Yeah.
You guys know what their interests were in the very least, and now it's like an update on what has happened.
Yeah.
Right? And for you guys, that's going to mean everyone from Silvery Moon, is pretty happy. King Melindrak is going, yeah, we're sending Silver Knights out across the coast, and we're going to set up a line of defense, and we're going to try and make it
Sweet.
work. and then everyone else is going like, oh, you guys can actually do the things you're talking about. Okay.
Come on over here.
Yeah.
Well, so maybe some people looking for the services the Sins can
Potentially,
offer.
right? They're to their delegation, or maybe there's some sort of collaboration where all the leaders say, okay, if they want to do this, I'll jump in on it, or I'll jump in on it.
Sure. Okay.
Right, to resources or
fund you.
information. Yeah. But I'm quite excited for that because the main focus of that one I'm going to be putting is the black and white masks. That's going to be something that's going to show up, and you guys are going to have some fun with pursuing.
Cool. Right. Okay. Cool.
I'm interested to see, like, because of how, like, at the first one, the Dynasty pretty much told everybody to go pound sand. Like, no,
They didn't.
yeah, they didn't show up. They went.
Didn't
we don't.
respond.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
you know, like they went. Nope, we're gonna stay back here. And like that confrontation you had with,
The guy with the southern accent.
Fuck.
the Marshal.
Marshall Mathers.
No, it was like
That'd have been cool though.
I just rewatched it like recently too.
Sorry, that's silly of me. I can
Yeah.
find it. Keep talking.
Yeah.
I'll find it.
Anyway, it's like that that was like the real first time that you like copped to who you, outside of telling Ramsay who you were, and then trying to dissuade them like, no, Damon's like scum of the earth, fuck this guy, do not deal with him. And then just us walking in and okay.
Yeah.
You know, you are definitely not supposed to be here. Like,
Yeah.
because I think we had kind of managed to be like, okay, we know Chase, just count them
Yeah,
out.
we know they're bad news.
Marshall Ravengard.
That's it.
Yeah.
So like now it's like, okay, now why are they like, and us knowing, not really meta, but meta, like us knowing what we know through Rhaenyra that
Yeah.
he's a dirtbag. And
But I think that's what the best part about me not telling anybody what I'm doing is like
Yeah.
how would you guys react as characters beside Rhaenyra right now?
Yeah.
You know what I
Totally.
mean? And not knowing what's going on in her head.
Everyone's just be looking at her like,
Or
what are we
assuming
doing? What are we
what
doing?
she's
What are we
gonna do.
doing?
Yeah, but she's stronger than probably most of all of them, right? Like, yeah. So that's why I'm curious to see how you guys react to like it.
Well, I would just say if it, it's an interesting encounter. It can go a lot of ways. I don't know. We'll just
We don't know.
We'll just see what happens.
slowly pulling an arrow.
But that's the thing. It's like this is a council meeting.
I know, yeah. It's
Yeah.
like you can't
You won't
just
have your weapons on you more than likely. Remember,
So
this
that's
is
my
different than the last one where they're like, we are checking for
Yeah.
traps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for
Typically,
sure.
you are not
They're
allowed weapons.
prepared
inside
this
this.
time.
Hey,
Yeah.
you think by chance those fancy little fucky ruins you put all around the room are still there?
Yeah.
Put that up
I
again.
actually
Because Elias
had,
goes,
like
Yeah.
an in-story question though.
Suspicious. Yeah, just in case.
Yes,
Because, like,
please. It is
so
a great question.
I never said anything, you know, like you were
No.
just like, oh, because I think you and I rolled perceptions, something, or me and Sola did. And like coincidentally, some reason I got like a dirty 20, something like
Yeah.
that. And it was like some like luck of the draw. But like I never said anything yet.
No.
And then, but to realize, because no one's reacted yet,
no.
Yeah.
including myself,
Yeah.
is that like, do they even know what he looks like? Like, do they even, like they just see the flag? You know what I mean?
Well, there was a flag and then there was an announcement of...
And they were, yeah.
oh
it
yeah,
was
that's
like
right. That's
there was
right.
the
That's
the
right.
official...
That's
yeah.
right. And then we ended pretty much
King
there.
Daemon,
Yeah.
Right, and
Princess
his-
Saren.
yeah, that's right, that's
Yeah.
right,
Or
yeah.
Saren.
Because, yeah, she came out first. And we were all like, oh...
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
The girl came up, the princess came up first.
Yeah.
Then Daemon followed. But Daemon, I will save the full description of for when we jump back into our session next time, whenever that is.
Oh, yeah, no kidding.
So long.
Something I need to take a little bit of time with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
'Cause
Give
there's-
it the space it
There's a
deserves.
vibe in the room.
This is
Cool.
The elephant
Wow.
in the room.
watch party before the next episode.
Cool. Well, I can't wait.
Me neither.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be fun.
It's gonna be good.
This is fun.
Yeah.
I asked him if he wanted me to tell him, and he was like, I don't know, it's up to you.
You know
Like, he
what?
literally, I can pull up the text. Like, he
No.
was like, it's up to you. And I was
Don't.
like,
Yeah, don't.
Don't tell him.
yeah. I'm telling anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I would never know what he has planned.
No.
And that's how the
and,
DM
like,
works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and I don't even think Rhaenyra would know. Like, you've never, as like your character has never faced this situation.
Yeah, yeah.
Your mom grabbed you. Poof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like, got the hell out. You, other than like the creepy eye and some taunting, little dragon, all these kind of things, you've never been face to face. So like, we don't know how you would react.
Only when Sola kind of like conjured.
Yeah, that's you know, but like, other than that, it's been like.
But even then, her reaction then was quite like controlled.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, it's definitely like, what do you do? And like, this is something like, I don't know if I quite, said the right way, but when you were talking to Kilvaris, the scribe, or the archivist, pardon me, she said that you had the ability potentially to gain dragon sight, right?
Yeah.
To see into other worlds, other versions of yourself.
Yeah.
But something was blocking it.
Right.
There's a limiter, a curse on you.
Yeah.
And that's not something you're maybe like super aware of. That would be kind of like new information to you. But like the way that is in my head formulated is foggy memory.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially around the times when you were escaping the palace and escaping, like after you had come back and were like, oh my God, Damon, what the, that whole like scenario, that situation is very foggy in your memory. Kind of like you were going through it and don't really.
Yeah, and I would say that like her memory would be foggy, like in terms of lore, because she was just like so angry, right? So it's just kind of like
you were a kid.
yeah, like a hazy
Yeah.
memory. Yeah.
So there's things that may have happened there where you're not quite sure of, right? As well. And like there's definitely a lot of interactions between you and Damon I want to do. And this is going to be a fun little thing to kind of see how they go.
I can do breath weapon more than once.
This is the interaction.
You do understand there's a lot of people still in between us.
I have guided strike. I have got a lot of cool things.
I mean, you could try.
Yeah. Maybe I will, or maybe I won't. Maybe I won't, Josie.
Don't you have wings now too?
Yeah, but like in terms of story,
Yeah.
Josie's gonna
No, I
introduce
know.
that in a way. I can't just be like, now suddenly Rhaenyra can fly, and she never told any of you, like the past 2 years. Like,
Yeah.
On your broomstick.
yeah, let's have room for fun. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Shits and gigs. It's
Yeah.
tiring.
Yeah,
You know how hard it is to fly? Jeez.
but it'll be fun.
Yeah.
I think it'll be
It's gonna
fun.
be really
It's funny because like outside of the game, like me and Josie are obviously really good friends. Like it's
Yeah.
been like what 7-8 years of friendship.
Something like that.
But then we always coincidentally do the same thing, and we don't plan it. So like one time I was like, "Oh, I just saw Deadpool and Wolverine." He's like, "I just saw Deadpool and Wolverine," and he was like, "What theater are you at?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm at Crossing." He's like, "Oh, I'm at Summer." I'm like, "Oh, weird." And then I was like, "Yeah, I'm heading down to Kensington for a date." He's like, "I'm on Kensington on a date." We're like, "What is it? Like, why are we doing the exact same things but not even like
Yeah.
but not together, never together."
Subconsciously coordinated.
Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see how it, like, that's why I'm interested to see how this plays, because we know each other well, clearly, but, like, it's a DM versus player kind of a
Yeah.
thing, and it's not Amy and Josie, it's DM and Rhaenyra, so
Yeah.
it'll be fun.
I'm very much...
Yeah.
Got a lot of other things in the brain at the moment, but yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it.
Gonna be interesting.
Yepper. And after that, we'll probably be looking. I'm hoping 10 sessions for like the next arc of finding other Dragon Max.
Nice.
I will say the Silvery Moon one, I was like pretty happy with the pacing.
Yeah,
I thought
that
it
was
was
well.
like decent.
Yeah.
It was another 10 sessions, so like
You
that
mean,
just might be
you mean
how
we
much I
didn't-
need to finish a story
We
in a
didn't do
place.
30 sessions in a week?
No.
Like,
But I might have just like more things that are kind of like environmental in the next spot and less like NPC focused, because I have a lot of NPCs everywhere. I think I also want to add in like more exploration stuff in the next one, where it's kind of like you can find stuff, and I might try my hand at a puzzle or two. We'll see.
nice.
Janelle will be happy.
I was going to say,
I can hear her.
she'll be watching this and just
I won't.
screaming.
I won't.
I'm
Regardless.
telling you, I told you how to get Janelle.
I saw it happen. I was there.
You played it, yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
But yeah, any final questions or things we're thinking about? I think
Covered everything I had.
covered everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I had one throwaway question.
Oh, yeah.
Just from our like sound testing episode.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
With like wishes coming up. What would everyone's character do if they had got a wish right now?
Oh boy.
Oh, I don't.
Boy.
Yeah.
Level 9 wish.
I don't know enough about what Wish is capable of.
Yeah.
Because I've never played that high of a
Yeah.
character that
Like,
can
can
have
you
Wish.
can you wish for an action and it just like happens?
It's
no,
replicate,
no.
replicate
Oh,
any
okay.
spell of 9th level or lower,
Oh.
or ask for a specific thing that the DM then kind of does a
Yeah.
interpretation.
DM discretion.
DM
Monkey
discretion.
paw.
It is, and it can go very poorly too.
I imagine it's very like based on semantics. Like, because it's
Yeah.
based on DM discretion, so you gotta be
Yeah.
very specific.
Yeah, as long as
Well,
you're
it's-
what you're
specific, it's
wanting.
fine.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, what you're doing too. Like a lot of times, people use it to bring back a character or to
Right.
you
Oh.
know
'Cause
it's
save
not
a character
like-
from.
When
Oh,
you
okay,
ask
okay.
a genie for something and
No.
he tries to fool you
Right,
or whatever.
right,
yeah.
It's
okay,
just,
okay.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
There can be
Well.
some negative consequences to
Sure.
it too, but
yeah.
you know
Yeah.
it's supposed to be a little
Yeah,
more.
but it's not so much like the monkey paw curling.
Yeah.
It's
No.
the thing you wish for happens.
yeah,
Okay.
it's yeah.
Yeah, boy, what would I ask for?
Yeah.
I mean, Sola would be trying to find some way to, restore Lythertida, because that's her whole mission. I don't know if I could just
Yeah.
be like, I wish that
Yeah.
Lythertida was whole again,
Yeah.
and then it would happen.
Yeah. Not
Yeah.
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 So, even Wish is maybe not capable of restoring a god. I don't know.
It would no, because you have to imagine like 9th level spells are probably 3 tiers below God,
Sure.
right? So like there's still like a pretty
Yeah.
vast
Yeah, because there used to be
there's-
10th, 11th, and 12th level spells.
Right.
whatever. the
There is
canons.
still a finite power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
to
not
Wish.
all
Yeah.
omnipotent kind of.
It
thing,
might
yeah.
be like, here's where the parts of her are located,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
perchance.
or like
Assemble yourself.
Yeah.
IKEA. Assemble your own god.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. That's a doozy.
I know what Rhaenyra would wish for, but it would spoil more about what may happen in the next
it.
episode. You know, like
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Raise weapons.
yeah. Well, we talked about
Oh, man.
something happening for Rhaenyra soon. It probably won't happen next session, quite honestly. But it was, but it's just like something that would help her a lot, and it's not even help her. It would just mean a lot to her. It probably is going to help her in the long run, obviously,
Yeah.
but it has a lot of meaning to her with a lot of these like memories or whatnot coming back. But I'm not going to say what it is. So.
And that's something else we will find out is like, what are the psychological impacts of seeing your
Yeah.
uncle in person again?
Yeah.
And what comes back when
Yeah.
that happens?
Yeah.
Because like we've talked about lately about stuff, and I'm gonna put you right back into it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you the
Yeah.
full.
With
Here's what happened.
intros.
Yeah. Yeah. So it'll be really fun. I'm excited for that.
And I really want to see like how everyone else like reacts to her, like reaction or non-reactions or whatever it is. Because I think everybody has an idea. I don't know actually, but I know everyone has some idea of how they think she's gonna react, and it could be all the same or they could be all different. So to see how everyone reacts too, I think this would be really fun.
It'll be interesting. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'd like to think Ramsay wouldn't try and be selfish and try and make it about him, but he probably would.
I mean, you don't find a wish spell every day, so.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Like it might be
Would it have to do with your mother? Do you think?
possibly. It might even be that he'd have just been happy if he got left on the doorstep of some average Joe and lived his life in blissful ignorance the rest of his life.
Yeah, they end up like Rhaenyra and find out that like
Yeah,
come home one day and your parents are killed.
You know,
and it's something
oh,
good.
shit.
Yeah.
But again, like he's don't know. It's really it'd be something that, or he'd probably blow it on something stupid.
25,000 gold pieces.
It's not even.
That's the most
Oh, is it?
It's not even a legendary item. That's like a quarter of a legendary.
Yeah.
Like it might even be something like, I don't know, shit.
I thought it'd be for sure like related to his mother.
Yeah, like is she alive?
Yeah,
Where is she?
could be that.
Yeah.
It could be, I don't know. I really don't know.
That's
Like
awesome.
he'd be, or if it's like somebody died, he'd do something stupid like, oh, immediately bring them back. Like I wish they never died.
Yeah.
Like, and just make a snap rash decision, or like, oh, I wish that Tiamat never existed.
Yeah.
Just to really be like,
Yeah, I'm sure that'll go great.
Yeah.
We forgot already. 3 tiers
I know.
below.
Yeah.
I didn't say he'd think it would work. Like he'd do something dumb like that though, and just be like, oh,
I'm sure you won't
shit.
see any consequences for this.
Yeah, like
Oh man.
he really, yeah.
Some people shit on Wish because it's like, well, it's
That's
such a
what I mean.
negative thing, and like you can only do spells and stuff, and it's like yeah, but also there's spells that are like you cannot literally recover from this unless you are wished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is the only thing that'll
To
work.
bring you back.
Yeah.
The void.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
fucking disintegrate, or like
Yeah.
whatever, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that works in that case, right?
See, like, yeah, if he had it in that case, it would have been like,
There you go.
oh yeah, Sola, wait, blah.
Yeah. Yay.
And Diona's back.
Yeah.
And he has back. Yeah.
We just put a little mud, mix this,
Yeah.
Build our own Eon.
Yeah.
bake it, crack the mud off. There.
There she is.
Anyway, tough question to answer though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very much is.
What does your character truly want?
I was thinking about it a little bit because I was like, I want to ask this question. I was like, how to like not get at monkey pod, because I've had that happen to me before. So I was like, I feel like the question that Elias would ask would probably be like just to get more information. It'd be like,
Not just to try and cure it.
no, I think I don't think it would.
Would work.
I feel like either it wouldn't happen or it'd go badly. I think it would like. I feel like there'd be some spin on it. I don't know. I don't trust anymore. I don't have trust.
Like if you asked about a cure.
One of
Yeah.
us. One of us.
I mean, Elias
Yeah.
has a contact in case they need things. Kilvaris seemed to be pretty interested in your plight,
Friend.
and that's definitely something you could probably pursue as far as information goes. But it's not so much a fact of like if she knows or not, because she probably does know. It's
Yeah.
just a matter of like, will she share what the
The vibes were very heavy. Like, are you worthy of the information?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you
Like, what
not-
are you
what
gonna do with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
is pretty much her whole thing,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes me think that it can go very wrong.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
why they're
like,
not.
Yeah,
revealing
we're not.
it.
I'm not gonna tell you everything because
Yeah.
this can go one of two ways, kind of a thing, and I don't know if I can
Potentially.
trust you.
potentially, right?
Yeah. Gonna start bringing some bribery to my library.
Love it.
Yeah. I don't know, but like wish wise, I feel like what I settled on was like asking what god is like tied to the curse.
Ooh.
Yeah, I feel like that's like
That would
be
narrow
like,
it
huge.
down
Yeah.
huge. Yeah.
'Cause I feel like that's the big question.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Alrighty. Well, maybe we ought to wrap her up.
I think that's another episode. I would like to say, if you haven't seen on the YouTube page, we now would love comments, questions, anything you have for next time we do Can't Make Wednesday. We want to hear from you guys, so please do, because there's enough of us just blathering on. Let's
Yeah.
answering our own
We
questions.
might as well talk about something you want to hear about.
Yeah, you know,
What do
like
people want to hear?
so.
We can talk for fucking ever.
Yeah.
so.
No, never.
Cool.
4
Alrighty.
hours of RP later.
I forget how we wrap these things up. So thanks for joining us.
Hi, hello.
Have a a great rest of your week. We'll see you soon.
Or don't
Bye.
fuck you.
Or that. Hi, hello.